You know, there were another hard-fought game by the Bears. Listen, I liked what the offense gave us. The offense was fine. Now, I didn't like the fact that the referees were screwing us around. Um, and then the Bears defense, it took them really till like late fourth quarter to finally figure out maybe it's best we actually double team Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Simple as that. Um, listen, by far, listen, all I can say is this: Justin Fields is the guy. He's the guy. Like, he's the guy. Like, you go back to I don't want to bring up the past, but there was a part in that 2019 season when Mitch was still the quarterback. By week 7, I'm like, this guy's not the dude. He's not the dude. Justin Fields, you progressively have seen him get better. Yes. Are the stats in terms of his passing yards impressive? No, they're not. Yes, could they be better? But look at what he has to work with on the offensive side of the ball. And we'll get to the PI, the phantom no PI call, but Equanimous St. Brown has to catch that ball. That ball was on the money. He's got to catch that ball. Plain and simple. Plain and simple. But I can tell this game, Fields got whatever he wanted, whenever he wanted, whether it was through the passing game or especially through the running game. He broke history today. The Dolphins had no answer for this guy. No answer. And mind you, this is a Chicago Bears offense that has, outside of probably Darnell Mooney and Chase Claypool and Cole Kmet, piss poor receivers, and then a piss poor offensive line, which I thought the offensive line held up pretty well. They didn't, well, they gave him one sack, but that was mostly on Braxton Jones right then and there, which I'm starting to get a little bit tired of him getting blown up, which shows me he needs to get in the weight room and work on them legs so he can stay on the ground. But overall, I was pleased with the performance in the Bears offense. This is like the third or fourth game in a row we scored 30 or more points.
94 points in the last 3 weeks.
Who would have thought? That sounds like 2022, 21st century football that every Chicago Bear fan has been asking for. And if we just get better talent, listen, Lord have mercy. Vikings, you might need to watch out soon enough because the Packers are on free fall right now. Vikings, you might need to watch out because Ryan Poles may be right about not giving up the NFC North. Because if he can do his job, get talent surrounded around Justin Fields on the offense side of the ball, freaking make the front seven freaking better. My God, then you're potentially talking about Super Bowl contender about 2-3 years.
94 points in the last 3 weeks. So from where I sit, there is nothing wrong with the offense other than maybe tweaking
Offensive line, getting rid of
offensive line here or there. Cody Whitehair came back, so obviously the interior was fine at the guard position. I didn't really see that Mustapher made any major mistakes.
the only major mistake. I didn't see him, but the one drive that the Bears went 3-and-out on, he had that stupid holding call on that Justin Fields run.
Right, yeah. But other than that, I think Musty didn't play bad. I'll say that. Riley Ref played a fantastic football game. He didn't let any. I mean, yeah, there was a couple holding calls, on Fields rollouts, But other than that, offensive line, with the exception of maybe Braxton Jones giving up that sack to Milgram Ingram late, I'll give them an A.
Yeah.
I'll give them an A. Justin Fields, what can you say? If this game does not prove that this guy is the franchise quarterback, then I have no clue what you are doing playing, watching football. You should just hand over your football card from this day forward. Justin Fields is the guy. He is the guy. He played flawless football. As a matter of fact, and you might be able to tell me different, I don't really see any mistakes that he made.
No.
I really didn't. He called Claypool twice. He called Claypool twice on on um on nines, on go routes,
Yeah.
on go routes. And both of them should have been pass interference.
Yeah. One of them was pass
One
interference,
of them
and then the
was,
last
right. One
one
of
at
them
the end of the
was, but
game.
that last one was pass interference.
Yeah.
Same quarterback. He did the same thing in front of the same official. And then on top of that, he got sandwiched. He got hit by the safety before the ball even arrived. And they did not call pass interference.
Yeah, we'll talk about the refs.
Straight garbage.
We'll talk about the refs soon.
Yeah, straight garbage. The running game outside of field was okay.
Yeah.
They really didn't try to get outside the numbers with Herbert and Montgomery. I thought they would. They did a little bit too many um, wide receiver screens for my taste.
Yeah.
One of which went to Mooney late in the game, in which he really wouldn't have had no blocking to begin with. But at the same time, I love the fact that Cole Kmet showed up. I mean, I always said, and you said it too, that if there was one receiver that would be his favorite, Justin Fields' favorite, it would be Cole Kmet. And he showed that today. 2 touchdowns. I think he had like maybe 5 or 6 receptions. He had one play in which he pretty much had to bowl over a cornerback just to get a first down.
David Howard.
Yeah. So, I mean, he played great football. The defense, I get it. I get it. You wanted to keep Waddle and Hill in front of you. That was the thing with playing a zone defense. I get that. However, Tua Tagovailoa, granted, Alabama, Roll Tide, I get it. Dude can't throw downfield.
Mm-hmm.
He had already proved that. Every time he went down the field, he was underthrowing receivers practically all game long.
Yep.
He cannot go down the field. So if this guy can't go down the field, then why give him the underneath stuff? Make him throw the ball deep. And on a couple of plays, he tried throwing the ball deep. Receivers had to come back for the football because Tagovailoa just don't have the arm strength.
Yeah.
So, and it burned us. That pass interference call, and I know we're going to talk about that pass interference call on Eddie Jackson was straight garbage. Eddie looked for the football. He looked for the football. I thought they were going to huddle up, and I thought that was going to be a no call, but they didn't. They called pass interference, but you're going to let that garbage go when Claypool practically did the same exact thing, and he got sandwiched by 2 defenders before the ball even got there. Garbage. Straight garbage.
Yeah.
94 points in 3 weeks. This offense is playing very good football. I'm pretty sure Coach Eberflus is going to, he's going to tweak some things with the defense.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you got to tweak some things with the defense because obviously without Quinn, we have an issue getting to the quarterback. We still got an issue with our undersized DTs not being able to defend the A gaps. Now, with our linebacking core, I think we're even slower now. I don't think Sanborn is faster, to the sidelines as Roquan was, and I think that's going to be a problem. Nicholas Morrow, he seemed to tackle more with his arms than his legs and his body. And they did bring in what was his name? Wilson, number 45. He had a nice tackle in the first quarter. I thought he played really well. Keeping Gesicki from getting outside the numbers. So all in all, the defense, I'll give them, the first half was an F. They couldn't, just a flat out F. Special teams, again, turned the ball over again. But They really didn't lose field position in the second half. This is another case of two halves with the Chicago Bears. They had with the defense. I'm talking specifically about. Defense played a horrible first half, but they came back and played a better second half, giving up only the 7 points. So heartbreaker because Miami didn't win that game in my opinion. It was taken from us.
Yeah.
And we had an opportunity. The referees, all they had to do was do the right thing, make that right call. And I think we would have been doing this video maybe another 30 minutes later.
Yeah.
This should have went into overtime, or we should have won the game.
Yeah.
Or had an opportunity to win the game.
Yeah. My assessment of the defense, I understand like us trading away Roquan and Quinn would harm the defense, but it's like it made no difference when we had Roquan last week against the Cowboys, so I could care less. I'm just like, just get one stop. Just one stop. And yes, they did get some stops, but it was kind of because lucky things. That fourth down call, that was an underthrown ball that for some reason they do the overhead. Kyler Gordon's backing up deep when he should be coming up on that tight end there.
Correct. Correct. And they guarded the tight end going outside the numbers throughout the entire game. Yep. They did really well at that. And again, it just goes back to what we were saying earlier. Tua he was underthrowing people throughout the entire game. The entire game, he was underthrown, whether it would be a 5-yard out or something 30, 40 yards down the field. He was underthrowing receivers throughout the entire game. I'd probably say the only accurate pass he threw probably was that touchdown to Waddle.
Yeah.
Even the touchdown to Wilson. Wilson had to come back, bend over, lean all the way down to go get the football, and then use his momentum at that particular point to dive into the end zone. So it's a tough loss for me. Tough loss, man. It's just
yeah.
I mean, it's really hard to watch two teams really give their all for it to be taken away by someone who is not closely associated with the battle on the field. And I think the officials did that.
Yeah. I thought honestly probably the best player on the defense was probably Justin Jones because he really started to show up in that second half. He was actually getting some pressures. Everybody else was okay to you were just bad. Jalen Johnson, he was getting cooked all game. I will give him credit. I did like the fact on what looked to be a wide open Jalen Waddle. He got his hands up and he deflected the ball away, so it messed up the whole catch there.
That's true, but it's still an underthrow.
Yep,
it's still an underthrow by Tua. I mean, he's just.
I'll still take it as a pass breakup, though.
I'll take it as a pass breakup too. But if he would have threw that on point, that was a touchdown. Yeah. The one to Hill, I think it was in the second half. The pass interference of Eddie Jackson. If he would have threw that a little deeper, that was a touchdown, and we probably wouldn't be talking about everything the refs did.
Yeah.
But Tua made some bad throws. He got lucky because he got good receivers.
Yeah.
Good receivers who know how to come back and get the ball and make a play on footballs. But he made some horrible throws.
Yeah. Again, continuing. Even though Getsy, there were some play calls I was scratching my head. I still thought Getsy play called a pretty good game. But again, back to Alan Williams, it's the second game in a row where I honestly thought he got out coached. Like the fact that you don't okay, I can understand having maybe either Tyreek Hill or Jalen Waddle go off, but the fact that you let both of them go off and you didn't adjust any part of the game really till that 1 4th down where it was the 1 4th down where they tried to throw it to Gesicki, and the commentator's like, well, the reason why Tua had to go to Gesicki is because the Bears double covered Hill and Waddle. I'm like, why didn't you guys do that all game?
They started doing that a lot in the second half. They started doing that quite a bit. Doubled them both. man up on Hill, man up on Waddle, but just cover them with a safety over the top. And it definitely did work. You notice that the number 11, the other Wilson Jr. that they got, he got a couple. And I would probably say if it wasn't for the running back, Wilson Jr., with his play, then I mean, granted, I think we still should have been in the position to win the football game.
Yeah.
But, because Miami adjusted by going to Wilson Jr. a lot in the second half because we were doubling Waddle and Hill over the top. So, but
yeah, for me, it's another badly coached game by Alan Williams. The fact that I understand, yes, halftime, that's where you can make your adjustments, but make them in the first half too. There was too many times where it's just like Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, they're wide open. Like,
yeah, I
come
gotta admit,
on,
they
do
played
something
zone.
different.
They played zone a lot just to give up the underneath routes, but they weren't giving up the underneath routes. They were given the intermediate routes behind the linebacking core. That's where they were really killing the Bears defense. And no, they did not adjust to that until late in the second half, in which, yes, they started manning up. Well, they man up in certain situations.
Yeah.
Just to make sure that they can account for Waddle and Hill.
Yep.
But I mean, the damage had already been done.
And this is my thing.
I see what you're saying about Williams.
Yeah.
The damage had already been done.
Yeah. And this is
granted, I'll say this. Williams was not at fault with the block punt.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
I was about to get to that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. My thing is, I understand Eberflus's defense and the way they handle Indianapolis. It's a way of just playing back in their cover 2 zone or just a zone, and they rush their forward linemen. There was just a part of the game I tweet on Twitter. I'm like, dude, what's the point? You're getting absolutely no pressure. Just blitz these guys and man these guys up at some point.
Or even better yet, don't rush 3. Rush 3. The quarterback was not finding anybody deep. Put 8 back in coverage and rush 3. He wasn't trying to run.
Oh, yeah.
He wasn't trying to run. He is just simple. Because keep in mind now, we're talking about a quarterback who just came off probably from one of the most brutal concussions we've ever seen.
Yep.
He ain't running.
Yeah. And even when he does, he's very slow.
Correct. He running to hurry up and get out of bounds and that's it. He is not looking to get hit. So my point is, man, rush 3, put 8 back in coverage.
Yeah.
See if he can find everybody back in coverage. And that's what I was yelling. Don't blitz. Rush back in coverage. The guy can't throw. He wasn't making great throws.
Yeah.
He wasn't going deep. And with 8 back in coverage, he wouldn't have gone deep. He would have tried to go underneath even more.
Yeah.
So Alan Williams for me.
He got to do a better job at adjusting in the first half.
He needs to do a much better job. Because I got to admit, me personally, and I know we Monday morning quarterback, and I get it. But me personally, if I see that a quarterback cannot make his throws, I'm going to put so many people back in coverage. I'm going to make him throw the football. But if you start blitzing, yeah, man, he might find a guy or two. Put 8 back in coverage. Oh, my goodness gracious. He would have so many issues trying to get the ball out in space because there will be none because we got 8 guys back there.
Yeah. Alan Williams, he needs to do a better job and not just waiting till halftime to make his adjustments. He needs to do it after one drive. If a team's going down, and mind you, this is the second week in a row, the team gets their first drive, they go right down the field and score, and it's too easy.
Right down the field.
Too easy.
And my thing is, I get it too. You have a set of plays that you want to use in the first half. I get it. What that number is, 15, 20, I don't know. I think a lot of coaches, they do 15. All right. So if that 15 don't work, if you see that a portion of that 15 is not going to work after the first quarter, my thinking is scrap it.
Yep.
And go to the next 15, or just adjust to what they're doing.
Yep. It makes
Adjust
you
to
wonder
what
if
they're doing.
it makes you wonder if they're going, if Alan Williams goes back there and talks to his defense, he's looking at the tablet and making those adjustments. Again, that's something that they're gonna have to figure out. Again, if I was Eberflus, I'd be getting on him and be like, dude, you need to hold your end on the bargain, because right now my defense is getting toast like butter right now, and you're not doing your job.
I get it. For me, Vildor got toasted in the first half for a pass interference. Yep. He tweaked his ankle. I don't think he came back. And then Jalen Johnson
didn't have a good game.
No, he didn't have a good game. He got beat royally. Yeah. And I'm sitting over here like, okay, you got Tyreek Hill and they put him in motion. I don't have a problem with you switching man coverage at the line of scrimmage. They didn't. They stayed with their assignments, and all Hill waited to do was to let the two slant so that he can do a wheel route up the side.
Yep.
And yes, Jalen Johnson got beat. He got beat by Waddle. Luckily for him, it was underthrown. He got beat by Hill. Pass was underthrown.
Yep. Yeah.
And Josh Allen, those two would have been touchdowns.
Yeah.
So my point is that when you got a quarterback that's throwing lollipops like that, put all these guys back in coverage. You welcome him to throw the football. Put all these guys back in coverage, because he's not throwing the football. He's not throwing great football. Yeah. He just got really good wide receivers that know how to act once that ball is in the air. That's it.
Yeah. Hopefully, Alan Williams calls a better game next week. But special teams, Cairo Santos was fine. Obviously, the one issue that you could say maybe changed the game, because one thing is, all right, it's already bad enough if you give a defense a touchdowns. Yeah. But the number one thing, and especially when I coach on my football team, special teams, the number one thing is you don't want to give up special team touchdowns, because that's just a free touchdown extra. Everybody keeps bringing up the point, and I like Khalil Herbert. I think he's a great running back, really good. He's really fast and everything. But the number one knock on him is he can't pass block. He has an opportunity to make a block. The guy that blocked the kick, I don't know what Khalil Herbert did. He just tried to go for his knees like a chop block or something, royally whiffs. Dude just jumps over him practically, gets to Trenton Gill, blocks the punt. And then the dude picks it up, touchdown. I'm sorry. In punt coverage, I always tell my players, you got to make sure you hold your blocks on for at least 2 seconds and then go run and go make the tackle. Khalil Herbert didn't even make an attempt to block. Shit like that. You want to be the number one back, and please pass protect when Justin Fields needs to go back there and drop back pass. Sometimes they're going to need that extra blocker, and you have to understand you need to block. You just can't do that. So Khalil Herbert.
And keep in mind, Herbert and Montgomery did not have really good games.
Yep.
They didn't have really good games. The Bears ran for another over 200 yards rushing. I want to say it was like 220, maybe 230.
But
180 of that is one guy, which is our quarterback. So, again, I don't really – it's a combination of the offensive line, Miami's front seven, and our running backs.
I think Miami's defense, they were like, we got to just stop that run and make Phil pass.
Correct.
At the end of the day, it beat them. It beat them because he used his legs. But your thoughts on the special teams thing? Herbert's missed block.
I mean, it's basically just what you said. I mean, you can't give up any scores on special teams. Special teams is there to get field position. And there were 2 crucial plays. One, and late in the game, we're kicking from, I believe, our 40, a punt, and Gill kicks a lollipop for about 30 yards. Yep. And then obviously the touchdown, the block punt. So I mean, just special teams for me, D,
Yeah.
Those two plays specifically
I'll be
had a
generous. I'll give them
negative
a C.
effect.
I'll give them just a C. I'll be generous.
Okay, I'll go with you. I can do that because those two plays, those two plays alone, really had a huge impact on the scoreboard.
Yeah.
It really did. Because I was really looking for Gill instead of kicking a 38-yard punt, something more along the lines of kick it to that pylon and find out what the hell go and let's see what the hell happens.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe the wind had a factor because the direction they kicked in, the wind was very strong. Because remember that Miami Dolphins dude, he missed the field goal too. It could be
Yeah,
it could have been the
yeah,
reason. It could have been that.
yeah,
We don't know.
it could be. It could be, maybe. I mean, based on what I saw, the wind was strong, but it wasn't that strong, to stop a punt that should have went about 50 yards um for a total of 38.
Yeah.
I I I don't think it was that strong. Not from where I was sitting, you
Yeah.
know. But even there was one punt in which Dante Pettis broke two tackles. There's just the coverage to keep guys off of them was piss poor. So putting Khalil Herbert back in kick returns was good, because we activated Chase Claypool and told Velus Jones,
Yeah, I'll
yeah,
get to that
we're
as
gonna
well.
sit you out this one.
Yep.
So I mean, the Bears are 3-5. What were we really expecting? You know, the only thing we were really expecting was them to come in and be competitive,
Yeah,
and
which
they
they were.
they were they were on both sides of the ball, ain't even on special teams. They were competitive. They might have had some, again, lapses in judgment. Khalil Herbert's blocking, specifically on that block punt. Allen Williams, his judgment to not, in my opinion, you said blitz. I say put more guys in coverage because he was underthrowing the football. We can debate that all day.
Yeah.
But all in all, it was still a tough loss
Yeah.
because in the end, it was a bad call, two bad calls, actually three bad calls that didn't go our way.
Yeah.
Whereas, the Miami Dolphins should feel lucky that they got out of Chicago with a W.
Yeah. And then on more positive things, Justin Fields, again, I thought he was pretty decisive. He was getting the ball out faster. So you can clearly tell the game is really slowing down for him. It isn't that comment he
Yep.
made his rookie season that, the game slows
Yep.
down for me. No, you can tell from week 1 to now, the game's really slowing down for him. He's actively looking to throw before he runs, but,
Yep.
sometimes the Dolphins just going to let you go run, then, hey, just take it off and run. He had a great rushing touchdown there. That was similar to that Vikings run that this time that got held back, but this time it didn't. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Claypool, I thought in his first game as the Bears, they didn't give him anything too hard.
Correct.
It was simple like hitches, and then they had him run a go route, which I was like, yeah, do those. The thing
Yeah,
is,
wide receiver screens and the 2 9s they sent them on.
yeah.
So, but I think more and more as he gets acclimated within the offense, I think he'll be fine. But I can definitely tell that they want to get this dude acclimated and acclimated quickly.
Yeah, because he definitely is showing.
Yeah, he's showing that he can be a playmaker too.
Yeah.
So, and also I can tell over the past few weeks the wide receiver room is getting better.
Yeah.
Claypool, Mooney, N'Keal Harry had a reception, a couple of looks. With the exception of the drop pass, Equinemius St. Brown has played very well over the last 2 or 3 weeks. Dante Pettis has played well as well. So the wide receiver room is getting better.
Yeah.
They're getting better because they're getting more time with each other. Now with Claypool getting more time, we have a clear-cut number one. And that showed because Mooney balled out.
Yep. Mooney had a nice touchdown catch. Cole Kmet had another great week. Going to Equinemius St. Brown, he's got to catch the football.
He's got to catch that ball. But at the same time, over the past few weeks, I can't really simply say, well, you know what? Granted, he does have to catch the football, but at the same time, if you look at his body of work over the past 3 weeks, you know,
Yeah.
it's probably just
I'm
one mistake that, and I'm pretty sure he's killing himself just as much as probably the media is going to kill him as well too. I personally am not going to do that. I just think that hey man, in his case, it happens.
yeah. At the end of the day, he's got to catch the ball. He's on a 1-year
But
deal.
he still have to catch the ball.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm gonna lean towards the side of, you know what? I think the next time he's put in that position, he gonna catch it. Unlike, let's just say, Velus Jones, who it just seems like every week does something that just makes you just want to scratch your head.
And going to that topic, he was a healthy scratch today, and when I saw that, I'm like, I called that because when Claypool came here, I was even calling before Claypool came. I said after that Cowboys game, just freaking not even start him anymore.
Think about this for a second. Let's just say we drafted George Pickens. Our wide receiver room: Claypool, Pickens, Mooney, N'Keal Harry, Dante Pettis, Equinemius St. Brown.
Yep.
But I'm gonna hang ahead on 94 points in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And the 94 points are against all of them. If I'm correct, all of them are basically going to be playoff teams.
Yeah. Velus Jones, he's getting the treatment more than likely, or he's probably in the doghouse now. But he's getting that treatment of, all right, you just sit on the bench, you stand on the sidelines, watch what's going on, and then we need
you're a rookie. Yep, you're a rookie. We're gonna keep you there. We're gonna bring you along. But now you got a lot of learning you got to do.
Yep. And then the last thing before we get out of here, other than that, offense I thought was great. Want more continued success with the offense. Last thing, obviously, is gonna be the most talked about thing about the game, and that was just the bad officiating. I find it absolutely hilarious that Tua. They throw the flag. Eberflus asked for the intentional grounding. The referees throw the flag for the intentional grounding. They talk about it, and they pick it back up. And they're saying there was a receiver. They go to review it. He said there was a receiver in the vicinity when number 30, the fullback, was blocking, not going out for a pass.
Correct.
Then next play,
they were saying that they were setting up a screen. That didn't look like a screen to me.
No. See, if the Bears got that, that's a loss of downs. On top of it, that's probably like a 2nd and 20.
Yep.
Then, next play, Tua goes deep. Eddie Jackson's looking back alongside the ball, and guess what? They call pass interference with Eddie Jackson slightly bumping into Jalen Waddle, which had no effect. Eddie Jackson was looking for the ball too. They called that a PI. Then we shift to the last part of the game. Justin Fields goes for another deep route to Claypool. He got the PI earlier in the game. Does it? You can clearly see on the replay, the DB is grabbing Claypool's hips and literally tugging him backwards away from the ball because the Claypool
right in front of the official.
Yep. And if he doesn't touch Claypool, Claypool's mossing him, and the Bears are in the red zone. You can clearly see it. And I'm just like watching the game live. I'm like, you call Eddie Jackson slightly bumping into Jalen Waddle a PI, but a guy is visibly dragging him back with him, and you don't call that a PI? And again, Equinemius St. Brown has to make that catch, but still, if you ask me what the Bears lost the game, that was the part where the Bears lost the game.
Yep.
Because they would have been in the red zone because of that PI call.
Yep.
And they missed it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. The referees, this is the whole thing about referees need to be punished for their actions. They not only need to be fined, they need to be suspended a game if they miss an adherent call. Otherwise, the NFL needs to come up with a new rule going into next season. You can challenge any penalty.
And see, that's what I honestly thought, because I said it too. I was like, challenge the penalty. And I was like, oh, the NFL don't do that crap.
Yeah, it's got to be there's got to be a mandate that these questionable penalty calls, you get one challenge for a penalty, thing. You win it, you have one more chance to challenge it again. If you fail it, just like a regular challenge, then you don't get no more challenges on any other penalties. Correct. Simple as that. That's what I would do. That's what I would institute. Why the league has yet to do that, I have no idea. The NBA does it with the foul calls. Do it with your penalty calls.
Correct. The thing is with these calls, the major thing is, and I know we're very short on time. The major thing is we just want the call to be made right.
Yep.
Make the right call. I can take a call if one of our guys do it. And I just be like, oh, doggone, dude, you know you're not supposed to do no stuff like that. But when you see our guys do the right things and they're penalized for it, it sends a bad message.
It
sends a bad message.
And the reason why I say challenge and review for penalties is because you can literally look on the Jumbotron in the screen on the stadium, and they'll show that said replay, especially if it's the home team, and they'll see.
Even Coach Eberflus brought it to his attention. Coach Eberflus brought it to the referee's attention.
Yep.
He doesn't get very animated on the sidelines, but today he was hot.
Yeah. Hopefully when I go listen to his press conference, hopefully he calls out the referees. That's one where you have to just take the fine and just be like, no.
Take the fine and be done with it.
Yeah. I'll actually be pretty disappointed if he doesn't go out and say, no, the referees lost us that game.
I don't think that's his style. So I won't expect him to say anything. But but yeah, man, that just sends a bad message. Yeah. That I honestly think at some particular point the NFL's got to do something about.
Yeah, it continues this trend of referees not doing the right job. And again, like I said, next year their penalties need to be able to be challenged. And then on top of it, referees need to have punishments for missed calls, because I don't want to wake up tomorrow and NFL officiating Twitter account says, yesterday at Dolphins at Bears, referees missed a pass interference call that would have moved the Bears to like the 35-yard line, I believe. No, that's the same thing like the NBA officiating. Oh, we missed a foul call. Who cares? The game's over. You made that mess up, and guess what? Those referees next week ain't going to get punishment for that. They're going to go to the next NFL game and probably make more screw-up calls.
Correct. And pass interference is always the one in the NFL.
Well, anyways, that's all I wanted to say. We're running out of time now, but again, that's our thoughts on Bears versus Dolphins. Proud of the way the offense showed up. They pretty much scored on almost every drive of the game. Again, scoring 30-plus points again. What more can I ask? We're actually getting 21st century offense. But anyways, going to get out of here, guys. Again, take care. Like the video if you like the video. Put in the comment section your thoughts on the Bears loss to the Dolphins. Did we get screwed? Which obviously we did. Or do you think something else? But other than that, how stoked are you for the offense? Hit that subscribe button. You want to get more Bears content or any more sporting content on Camp for 15 Talk Sports. Till then, guys, catch you guys in the next video. Peace.